Carbon bikes, should you buy one? Should you spend the money? Or should you just get an alloy? I just got this question on my YouTube from a girl that's going to buy one tomorrow, and I had to make a video now because she's obviously looking tomorrow, so I just had to make it. So, her name is Sarah Jane Demalpuelaquet. I'm really sorry if I got that wrong. So basically she says, I'm looking to buy one of these, and this was basically posted on a video where I did a review of the Giant Avail Advanced 2015 model, which is carbon. So she says, I'm looking to buy one of these and going to try one out tomorrow, but previously only had a mountain bike and a hybrid. But really want to get properly into riding, but also do want to ride it every day, just about 4 miles to and from work. I want a bike I can ride all the time. Never had a carbon, so would you recommend this, as you don't use yours to ride to work? Thanks, SJ. So SJ, and anybody else that is thinking of getting a carbon bike, would you get one? The short answer is no. I would not, even though I have one, I would not recommend getting a carbon bike, and these are the reasons why. There's nothing wrong with a carbon bike, there isn't. However, if you are looking to get into a bike just to get actually riding, to get fit, to get healthier, to go on social rides, you do not need a carbon bike. Let me repeat that, you do not need a carbon bike. I would always say go for alloy. I bought mine, as I think most people do with carbon bikes. It's almost like you buy it, not because you think, it's gonna feel so much different when I'm riding. It's almost like just because you wanna look a fancier, blingier bike. That is generally what I found, and that's one of the reasons that I bought one. It's almost like you are saying, yeah, I'm really serious about riding a bike. I wanna spend all this money on a carbon one. And to be quite honest, it's not worth the money. They are not worth the money. There's not enough difference that I feel from my alloy Giant Avail to a carbon. I don't think, the only difference that I find between them is my carbon bike has disc brakes, and I much prefer disc brakes to caliper brakes. So that's the only thing I would say, is get an alloy frame with disc brakes. That's personally what I would do. If I had to do this all over again, I would just buy an alloy bike with disc brakes. What I would say is use that money. If you're going to spend £2,000 to £1,500 on you want to spend that on a bike, what I would say to you is get an alloy frame with a 105 group set on there. So the group set that you get with like a cheap alloy Giant bike, I'm just using Giant because that's the only brand that I've had. And what I would say is you normally get Sora or Tiagra. So if you don't know about group sets, basically the group sets on a bike are all the moving parts. So the shifters, the crank arms, which is where the pedal is, the actual crank itself, which is kind of like the big disc. It's all the moving parts on the bike, obviously not the wheels, but all the actual like mechanics of the bike. And when you get a cheaper or like an entry level bike, you're getting the cheaper components. So what I would say is upgrade that, get the alloy frame and upgrade the components, because they feel so much better. That's what makes, I feel like, that's what makes the biggest difference for the maybe smallest amount of cash, if that makes sense. So by spending a little bit more on the group set and less on the frame, I feel like you get a bigger difference and a bigger gain for your money. I don't think there's any need to ride a carbon one to work, and the reason why I don't ride the carbon one to work is for the reason that I don't like leaving it like outside if I need to lock up outside. I'm much more precious over the carbon bike, and that's kind of one of the problems. And I'm not like mega precious, but I am much more careful with it. So you want a bike, if it's going to be your everything bike, you want a bike that you can just take everywhere, that you're not as worried about it getting like dinted or scratched. With my alloy one, it is so scratched, and I like that. I like that it's got all these like little like memories and like reminders of places that I've been. Like, it's been on so many flights. It must have been on like 10, 15 flights, 15, 20, even 20 flights. And I like that about it. Whereas with a carbon one, I'm just a little bit more like worried about it. So I would say to you, SJ, get a no, it's not. That's not what I'm going to say. I mean, get an alloy frame. They are cheaper. You're better off spending your money on like an upgraded group set, a power meter, or like accessories. Or do you know what? Even better yet, use that money and spend it on a flight somewhere to take your bike cycling to like some amazing like place where you can actually ride in the hills. Like that's what I would recommend. Or just wherever you are, I don't know where you're from, like which country you're from, spend it on a trip away with your bike. That's what you're going to get the biggest gain out of. I know I'm like rambling on, but it's something that I'm like, I could just talk about this all day. Yeah, so that's what I would say. Get an alloy bike. I know I keep saying this, I'm repeating it, but it's because I want you to understand. So alloy bike, upgraded group set to a 105, and use that cash that you would spend on a carbon bike going on cycling holidays. So if you've got any more questions about cycling, about bike components, anything to do with that, like which ones I like, anything like that, post them in the comments below and I will answer them. So yes, I will see you next video. I really do hope that helps. It is quite daunting, I think, when you first get into cycling. I literally had no idea like what I was getting and what I was getting myself into. So, but I will say any bike is better than no bike, and the best purchase I've ever made. It had the biggest like difference, made the biggest difference in my life than probably anything else I've ever bought, and I absolutely love it. So enjoy your bike and let me know, actually let me know how you get on. I want to know which one you went for, and yeah, I'll see you next video. And I want to just add, even though when I look back in that video I say, oh my god, it's just a massive difference, the difference that I'm talking about is because I've got an upgraded group set. It's not because the actual carbon fibre itself, it's because of the next door I've got a bloody alarm clock that goes off all the time. Sorry, anyway. Yeah, the difference is because it was an upgraded group set. It wasn't because it was carbon, it was because it was a better group set. So that is what the biggest difference is, like I've just said. But just to reiterate, alloy, upgraded group set with a 105.